Okay, we got it on record. Good evening, everybody. 1 second here. We just getting
technical difficulties for 30 seconds.
Yeah, we'll get this sorted out here. Give me a second here. Get this across, and we will get this. We should have had that over there, but from the beginning. Okay, put that to full screen. Now I'm showing my screen. We should be on air. Everybody, I believe, should be seeing this first screen. And we still got a few people coming in. How's everybody doing tonight? Okay, what we're going to do is welcome. Thank you for taking the time to join us this evening. You're in for something special. We realize that your time is valuable. Let's get started. Before you do, let me see by a show of hands if everyone can hear me and see the slides.
See any hands?
If you see on the right-hand side there, you should see a way to be able to show your hand. And then let's agree that how much you get out of something is in direct relation to how much you put into it. Make sure you have pen and paper at hand. Set your pens on turbo. Okay.
So, question everyone. How well are we connecting with each other? Are we stopping to listen to the other person so that they really reveal what's on their mind, what is important to them? The minute we stop to listen and let them reveal, that's when we get to the point of understanding. If we could somehow reduce misunderstandings by just taking the time to listen, the world would just start getting better. So how important is it really, to skillfully communicate? So if you could just take 30 seconds, clap your hands in the box and let us know if this is really important to you. Because once you can skillfully communicate, you're coming from a place of safe strength, people feel safe around you, and it's a win-win for everyone.
How do you deliver your value to others? Do they recognize you for who you are or are as something else? What can be done to improve your value to the marketplace? Do you see the need to be on top of your communication to get the most out of the results? What is this effort worth to you? We can show you how to double and triple your results it has for us. And then, when you're in control of yourself, others will notice. Being focused will give you the results and positive outcomes. The reduction in conflict will be dramatically reduced. Learning how to sense and manage your own and others' emotions will equip you to stay focused, reduce conflict, and achieve positive outcomes. When you connect with others and meet them where they are at, you can create meaningful relationships that last. If they are not at your level, you can build them up to your level. That effort will create benefit for both, and in so doing, will also gain more respect from your peers.
So, skillfully dealing with people through those difficult conversations, how important is it for you to feel safe and comfortable having those difficult conversations? And actually, more importantly to me is, how safe does the other person feel at the outcome of that conversation? Are they sort of in the same mind space that I'm in? Everyone is comfortable. Wouldn't you like to be able to ethically influence people so that any decisions they make are the right decisions for them? Not for you, but for them. Salespeople on the line, I know we've got a few of you. How would you like to be able to go into your sales relationships with your prospects, your customers, with a win-win attitude? You know, where you win and they win. If they don't buy from you, you're okay. Perhaps then if you're not pushing, then they're going to refer you to somebody else. Sometimes it's not the sale at the moment, it's the sale later on through who you know.
Okay. Is this webinar for you? If you feel that honing your communication skills is important, then yes. If you feel that establishing real, genuine rapport is important, then yes. If you want to take ownership for your part in your relationships, then yes. Okay.
Oh, I like that big yes.
Okay, now yours.
So, just a little bit of what you can expect this evening. We're planning to run for about 30 minutes. Pardon me, not 30 minutes. My apologies. 60 minutes. So I'm going to ask you to eliminate distractions. You know, like when you're in the movies, they ask you to turn off your cell phone. Please do the same here. Get ready to take notes. Have a writing pad beside you with your pen. We have some specialists on the line with us, Mr. Wayne McPherson, Mr. Raza Aziz, to name but a few. So if you have any questions throughout this webinar, if you want to type them into the box, they're going to be able to answer them for you, as well as at the end, we're going to have a Q&A session. What this webinar is not, you know, it's not for someone just wanting to waste their time. It's not the average course. It is not for people who are not ready to take the next step in their life. And it's not for people who sort of lack integrity, who, you know, want to pull the wool over people's eyes. This is not for you.
Okay. My name is John Wayne Robert Jensen, one of your hosts for the evening. As you have likely already figured out, we like to have fun, and we want your experience here this evening to be interactive and fun.
Oh, there you are.
Okay, a bit about myself. Founder, certified coach, personal development for 20 years. Fluent both English and Dutch. So, and licensed by James MacNeil. So, okay. And then here we go.
There I am. That is really what I look like. I'm looking for a better picture, but that's what we've got right now. I've been a student of personal development for 20 years plus. I am currently writing a book, Interrupted Perceptions. I have worked in the legal field for the past 25 years, and believe it or not, I love it. I love helping people understand the various court processes. I liaise between lawyers and clients and court clerks, and somehow I make friends with everybody. And part of that is reading court documents, reading novels. I just love to read, and by reading, I'm learning. And I'm also very proud to say, and humbled at the same time, that I am a verbal Aikido master trainer.
Okay.
Shocking confession, I hate to admit this. John and I have been students of personal development, as we said, for 20 years, but we never followed the rules for personal development. We always thought, well, why are we not getting the results that all these books say we're supposed to do? So finally I clued in and I said, I know why. It's because we're not following the steps. We're not following the people that are doing the steps. And the minute we made that decision, a light bulb went off, and it was like, now we're attracting the right people. Our lives have improved tenfold, and it just keeps getting better.
Okay. Now, when life turns upside down, what happens? Okay, this is an example. I was in a bad car accident. This was not my accident, but this just gives an example. I was unable to walk or use my right arm as a result. I went through a lot of mental torment by the insurance, which was actually worked out worse than my physical injuries, which I still affect me today. But I've got a mindset to keep on going and make the most. So now, after a long recovery, I'm walking, full use of an arm, and I'm making the most out of life. Per persistence. Okay, 1 second, sorry. When life hits you, you have to get up and keep going to the best of your ability. Not going to be easy. If it is to be, it is up to me. So I kept going. Did I have failure? Yes, I did, but I never quit. It is not how many times you fall, it's how many times you pick yourself up. Result, I don't know how to quit. Am I excited about our future and how many people we can help achieve success? Okay. You learn to adjust when it doesn't go as planned. Change is inevitable. Choice, adapt or get left behind. Find what works and apply it. Okay.
So John and I realized that we have to transition. And as I'm sure you could figure out by now, communication has always been very important to us, how we connect with people. So we were actually starting to build our own communication product. Then we met James MacNeil and we were introduced to his Verbal Aikido. Verbal Aikido is the most advanced communication program we have ever encountered. It's invaluable. So now it is my pleasure to just tell you briefly about Mr. James MacNeil. He's a wonderful gentleman, and I'm proud to call him my friend. This gentleman, as with other world leaders, has overcome many life's obstacles. He's, as John said, he was tenacious, so he's made a success of himself. He's a best-selling author. He's a coach. He's a keynote speaker. He's actually one of the world's most acclaimed speakers on all the stages. He has addressed more than 2,000 people in live audiences, and I think we need to update that, John, after speaking with James. I think he's well in excess of 2,000 now. So it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. James MacNeil.
Wow, thank you so very much. I'm honored to be a part of this this webinar. You know, this is not my normal format. I'm comfortable in front of large audiences and even small groups, but to be able to take the stage here with you guys is a huge honor. So thank you so much. I hope everyone on the call is enjoying this and getting something out of it. I'm not as disciplined as John and Ann are with their speed of moving through the slides. So I'll try and be a good boy. And I do want to make sure that I stay around and I'm available for any questions that you might have. But I would like to just ask, what would provoke you to come onto a call talking about communications? Why is it that you're here? What is it that matters as it relates to communication? One of the quotes that I've used in the past is communication is almost everything, and almost everything communicates. I think you would agree. It's not just what we say. I think you would agree. It's not just the body language or the physiology, but showing up on time, being dressed appropriately, our actions and reactions, our responses, and our tone, even the rolling of the eyes. I think you would agree that we pick up so much from each other. Communication is almost everything, and almost everything communicates. If you were given the cure for cancer, but you didn't have the ability to connect or communicate with others and pass that secret on, that would be a tragedy. And I believe, beyond a shadow of a doubt, there's more to you than this world has seen. You have competence and capacities, you have strengths and abilities that'll bless the planet and thrill your soul. And communication is our currency in the marketplace. This is what unlocks it. And it's not that people are not speaking. As you know, with technology today, we can send not only text, but audio and even video messages around the world, as I've recently done in my overseas tour with the National Achievers Congress, as I was doing work here in Toronto while overseas. We can send messages all over the world instantly with no delays, and yet we've lost the ability to connect with a person across the desk, across the bed, across the couch, and we've lost some fundamentals in communication. Our society is limping along at about a 28% engagement level in our corporations. How many relationships, had you had mastery of your emotions and your communications, could you have made a blessing? And people are talking. I want you to know we speak on average 175 words per minute. I tend to speak at about 250 with Gus up to 500. I speak relatively quickly and I try and control that. But everyone's talking. There's no question about that. On an average day, you speak a 50-page book, and in a week it's over 300 pages. But the question then is anyone listening? How many times have you found yourself saying, how many times do I have to tell this person the same thing? And the fact that we're able to articulate a thought does not guarantee anyone's listening. So I believe, and I hope you would join me on this, communications is crucial. This is central for our success at home, in the workplace, in the marketplace. And I hope for you that you'll get some benefits out of this evening. This will begin a relationship between myself and you and John and Ann. And I hope we can continue to serve you in the area of communications. One of the tough things about communications, and I'm not sure if I should, yeah, thanks, John. I'm not sure if I'm the one who forwards my slides, so thank you for that.
I'm doing that, yeah.
Thanks, man. You know, look at this, what a team. So we want to strike the right chord, and chord is an acronym, and it's relating to how do I connect and communicate, and not just with the simple, you know, what time are we supposed to be at the meeting kind of messages, or what time do we have to pick Johnny up at the school, but rather, how do we have those difficult conversations? How can you speak your truth with full enthusiasm, with appropriate intensity in such a way that others can receive it? And how can others speak with you with their own intensity, and you're able to receive it? And the secret is to communicate honestly, openly, respectfully, and directly. So we must communicate. We must open up and have the dialogue. Many times people will say, I told you, or I told them. And the fact is they didn't actually tell anyone anything. They just thought they had said it. It was on their heart. It was on their mind. It was their intention, but not their communication. So we must actually communicate. We want to be honest, always, open when appropriate. We want to communicate honestly, openly, respectfully, and directly. So people don't have to wonder what we really mean. They know exactly where we stand on a given issue. They know exactly what we intended. And people don't walk away from a meeting wondering. They know exactly where we stand, and they can see not only our words and hear our words, but they can truly feel the clarity. So we strike the right chord by communicating honestly, openly, respectfully, and directly. And this is not a sign of weakness. This is strength. This is meekness. It's power under control. I would like to jump forward here and just quote. This is the founding wisdom of the martial art Aikido. And the quote is, when the mind-body unified by Nen. Nen is, you may have heard of Zen, right? Zen Buddhism, Zen. And Zen means no mind or no attachment. Nen means focused. So Nen means one mind. And when the mind-body unified by Nen, a single focus, harmonizes with the principle of an ordered universe, a person becomes free of self-centeredness and self-consciousness. This unlocks our greatest potential. This unlocks our capacity. I think you've probably seen the martial arts movies where there's a martial artist being surrounded by villains. Normally they're ninjas. Ninjas get a bad rep in the movies. I don't know if it's all real, but there's normally 20 ninjas for one poor soul who's trying to defend themselves. And at some point in these movies, you'll notice that someone is attacking them from behind. They can't see their attacker. Or maybe it's a bow and arrow, and an arrow is flying at their head. And somehow, miraculously, this individual will sense the attack coming from behind and move ever so slightly. They'll catch the arrow, break the arrow, defend the attack. And we say, wow, wouldn't it be cool if we could be so present, so conscious when we're communicating that we're not blindsided, we're not emotional, we're not out of the zone, we're actually completely present. We transcend the noise of our own emotions, and we don't get sucked into conflicts that don't need to be sucked, we don't need to be sucked into. Our egos stay separate. And this is the beauty of what's called Nen consciousness. And these principles are founded on the principles of mutual respect. This is an authenticity, a non-adversarial effectiveness. The verbal Aikido practitioner serves to, we flip the switch. We're going to go to the next slide. We flip the switch from what the world thinks of communications and communications training, which is sadly manipulation, domination, and control. We flip it and we focus on controlling self, managing our interactions, and influencing others. And when people realize we're shooting straight, we're respectful, we're direct, we're under control, we're managing the interactions, we earn the right to influence. And in that safe place, people are able to make up their own mind. They're able to make informed decisions in their own best interest. We're able to help people feel comfortable. This is why the verbal Aikido training is the highest priced consulting training for the world's most powerful banks. This is something that's unique. It's been exclusive. We're now revealing it to the public. And this is what makes the profound, powerful effect that's earning hundreds of millions of dollars for the big corporations. It's not actually some kind of trickery. It's actually open, respectful, and direct. And when we realize that's in fact more powerful than the other options, we're free. And so hopefully you can begin to open yourself up here. So to control self, let's move forward. To control self says I'm not a victim of my own provocation, my ego. My ego, by the way, is my shallow, short-sighted, self-centered part of me that I'm not really very proud of. I would prefer if my ego would get out of the way and my truer, higher self would be in control. And so we learn to have balance, calmness, we have determination, we have that confidence and willpower. We are not a victim of our smaller self, but rather we're in control of self. And self-discipline, by the way, and we teach this in our courses, self-discipline is the ultimate key to freedom. If I know I can give myself a command and obey it, I'm now immensely confident in my future because I know when I give myself that command, it's going to happen. Self-control is fundamental to being a master of communications. You know, Bruce Lee is one of those great people that we think about as a master as far as martial arts, and he was a great actor, a great entertainer, but also a great martial artist and a great human. He said, notice that the stiffest tree is most easily cracked, while the bamboo or willow survives by bending with the wind. And what he was teaching is the more flexible we are, and this is one of the secrets to Aikido, I want to be able to accept any message without agreeing or disagreeing. And so because we're flexible, we do not break, we do not fight back, we don't go into adversarial mindset. We simply hear where they're coming from, and we find a way to make it work for them and for us. And so we manage those interactions. I control myself, so I'm not going to be reactive. Wouldn't it be great, by the way, if you're on this call, hopefully you could think about this. Wouldn't it be great if no one could hit your hot buttons anymore? You had no more hot buttons. You can probably think of people in your work life, people in your personal life that can hit your hot buttons and just send you off emotionally. Well, the beauty is I'm going to control self. And now that I'm in self-control, I can manage these interactions. I can have clear, compelling objectives. I can manage these interactions. It's a safe place because I'm in it. So we can forward our slides. We're managing the interactions.
Yep.
And we're not a victim of any kind of emotions that could derail us. So if we're in the room, the conversation is safe. And one of the secrets to this, and I want you to really lock onto this, is having a clear and compelling objective. There are no lazy people in the world. There's only people lacking a clear, compelling objective that they believe in and feel free to pursue. So we spend a lot of time making sure we're very clear what is our objective for each interaction. Most of the time, let me start by saying you always have an objective. It's often unconscious what your objective is, and it's often irrational. It's emotionally based, egocentric. So the three keys to a clear, compelling, powerful objective is number one, honest. What do you really want? Sometimes we'll say, I just want them to know how I feel. But that's not always true. Sometimes it's you want them to agree. You want them to apologize. You want them to something else. You want them to buy something. And so it's essential that we understand the truth. What do I really want? And then reasonable. How safe and interested is this other person in this conversation? Are they interested? Are they engaged? Are they open? And if they're not, how do I get them there? So is it reasonable? And also, just to consider the confines of a communication. If it's a person I don't get along with and I'm trying to make $1 million sale and I make multi-million-dollar sales, I need to think about how much time do I have? Do I have the time? Do I have the structure? Do we have the rapport? Have we uncovered their needs, their desires, their hopes, and their dreams? I want to set a reasonable objective. So this is one of the secrets to effective communication, set a reasonable objective. And then lastly, you want it to be rational. There's some serious noise here, Sharon.
Hello, how you doing?
Okay.
Good.
Perhaps we can mute.
Make that tuition yet?
Sharon, if you can mute your line there, Sharon, that'd be great. So yeah, you want to set your rational objective. What that simply means is
Okay.
moving from emotional to rational. So sometimes when we set an objective, we're very upset with someone and we want to win, we want to punish, we want to whatever. And we want to set a honest,
Okay.
reasonable, and rational objective.
Did you
Let me
talk
just
to that?
mute my line just for a second. Hold on. Okay. Perhaps someone can text Sharon, let her know about the line there. So yeah, there you go. So that's having a clear, compelling objective. This is a communication philosophy that's a radical shift. It's a grace-based system. It's rather than I'm going to try and control or judge, I'm actually going to open up to having a very gracious mindset, a very gracious attitude. And it's a different mindset from most communications philosophies. And so instead of saying people have to earn my respect, we actually give them respect. So let me just share with you as far as rapport. When it comes to rapport, and I hope you're keeping notes and capturing as much as you can here, because we're giving you, hopefully you can see that we're giving you a great amount of content in a limited period of time. And I look forward to spending more time with you. Hopefully we'll meet in person and we get to work together. But when it comes to communications, the central point is the connection, the rapport. It's like if my computer isn't plugged into the wall and if the battery's dead, I have no power. And in my communications, if I'm not connected, I have no power. So rapport is the invisible bridge between souls that enables us to communicate. And only then can I influence others. Only then can I have a positive impact. And without that connection, nothing moves forward. So you might want to jump forward on the slides there, John. So it's with that connection that influence occurs. And from my youth, I have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and as a child, I couldn't make friends, and I can tell you my sad story, but let me just summarize it by saying this, that I had a desperate quest for the approval of others, and I worked very hard at learning how to communicate. And the central thing that I wanted to know more than anything else was how to build rapport. I was jealous that everyone else could connect, everyone else got along, and I wasn't one of those people. I was awkward and annoying. And so I wanted to learn rapport, and I've studied it more than virtually anyone. And again, this is the content that is the #1 most sought after content on rapport and communications in the corporate world that I've been touching for many years now. So I'm passing it on to you. This is tens of thousands of dollars of content that they hire me for, and I'm passing it on to you. Hopefully you're enjoying this, and I appreciate John and Ann facilitating this conversation for us. So I wanted to then pass on the philosophy of rapport that'll serve you best. It's called grace. Now, grace is it's a word that comes from the Christian faith, and it means undeserved kindness or unmerited favor. So the Christian faith says God is gracious, amazing grace. You've heard the song, but even in our normal day-to-day world, when someone opens a door for someone, we call them gracious. And so what's distinct here is in society today, people say they have to earn my respect. You know, someone has to earn my respect. Well, being gracious says I choose to give them my respect. They don't have to earn it. And so this is a different methodology, a different mindset, and it is irresistible. So grace is in fact irresistible. What I mean by that is if you give to someone, we'll flip the slides here, genuine respect, acceptance, interest, and a spirit of service. This is my acronym you might want to jot down and remember. Genuine respect, acceptance, interest, and service. People find that irresistible. Now, the word genuine is essential here because the most repulsive thing in human interactions is disingenuousness. If someone is inauthentic, we find it repulsive, mostly because we're survival creatures and we need to know what we're dealing with. And so even if you were to say to someone, I don't like you, you have a better chance of building rapport with that than a fake, I really like you. And so genuine is the starting point. Respect is something we can choose to give everyone. I'm going to move quickly through this, and we spend a lot more time. If you work with us, if you enroll in any of our programs or spend more time around John or Ann or myself, we'll flesh this out and not only make it theoretically more clear for you, but make it your style, help you to just simply embrace a new philosophy, and you'll just notice you walk in a room and you're a magnet. People come running to you. I know that when I'm around the world. Recently, the security had to pull me off the floor after a speech because people had crowded me and they wouldn't let me move. And I don't mind that. I love it. I'm signing autographs and taking pictures. And I just love being that magnetic in that environment. And this is how we do it. we give genuine respect. Acceptance, by the way, you might want to remember this is the ability to accept a message without agreeing or disagreeing. When someone says something to you, even if it's erroneous or hurtful, we can simply say, I hear you, right? Just to say your message has been received. People don't need you to agree as much as they need to feel heard, understood, accepted, and respected. So grace gives them what they need. Next is a genuine interest. In sales training, and I'm sure you've heard this, they say you're supposed to ask questions to uncover their needs, their buying triggers. What do they need? What do they want? What's going to help you close the deal? Well, what I'm talking about here is an interest that goes beyond self-interest, but a genuine interest in them as a person. When people feel that genuine interest, it's an explosive emotional effect that people just feel that attraction to you. So it's a genuine interest. And then lastly, a spirit of service. There's takers and there's givers in the world. And we all know that we're attracted to the givers, and that's just a simple thing. But if you had a service mindset that says, I'm not here because I'm needy or greedy, I'm in this conversation because I want to make a positive impact, and I just trust that we're not running out of money, we're not running out of time, we're not running out of friends. If I give, I will receive. And you've probably heard that the word deserve means from service. So the more I serve, the more I deserve. If you're not earning enough, therefore, it means you're not serving enough. So to have a service spirit in our relationships just makes us a very attractive person. I know I spent a little bit more time on that slide than maybe people perceive, but necessary. But let's just jump forward and we'll move through the next few quickly. So genuine is the repulsion of insincerity, the appeal of authenticity, and the value of appropriate vulnerability. Souls meet at the point of vulnerability. We've talked about the word respect, and respect doesn't mean I respect everything about somebody, but I can give them a basic fundamental respect for being a fellow human. Next, to review again the word acceptance. This means I can enter into a conversation with a clean slate. A clean slate philosophy, a clean slate mindset means I'm not holding a grudge against you for all of the things in the past, and it's very difficult for some people to let go. Let me say to you, I was recently in, where was I? Mexico, I think, speaking with some of the most wealthy, powerful people in the world. I was sharing the stage with this man who's a wildly successful man, and he was teaching his lesson. And there were some questions coming from the audience, and we were doing a workshop for this very prestigious group for this corporation down there. And he went off the script, if you know what I mean. He went off the rails, and he said, you know what, let me just cut to it. I believe the number one, I encourage you to write this down. He says, I believe the number one most profitable skill I've developed, the number one secret to becoming a multimillionaire and billionaire is this. And there's a dead silence. And I was waiting too. I was sitting there, what's he going to say? What is he going to say? Because you could tell it was coming straight from the heart. And then he shocked us all when he said, forgiveness. He says, I have the ability to forgive myself, forgive the past, forgive others, and move forward. And without that weight holding me back, I'm able to fly forward at a pace that no one can match. So this is the secret of it. We're building a model that works. Whenever we meet someone else, issue to them genuine respect, acceptance, interest, and service, and they, in turn, will be drawn to this kind of grace. So it's a beautiful thing, this acceptance. Let's continue. And again, our founder says the egoless self is open, flexible, supple, fluid, and dynamic in body, mind, and spirit. What this really means is, instead of connecting, there's a general norm in communications, and you may, I'm sure you understand this. In the normalcy of communications in society, in social groups, in corporations and families, you will notice, and I've noticed too, you will gravitate to some people and be repulsed from others. You put a room of 100 people, there's going to be a certain number of them that you just naturally gravitate to and want to make friends with. You're attracted to them and they're attracted to you. You have a natural resonance spectrum. And so we all have a natural resonance spectrum, and some are from birth or from early childhood or from habits, have a slightly larger or smaller natural rapport spectrum. But what I'm saying to you, and what our founder of Aikido has said, is that I can become so open-minded, I can develop my capacity to issue genuine respect, acceptance, interest, and service. I can communicate honestly, openly, respectfully, directly, with a calm confidence, a safe strength, and a pure motivation, and I can open up my spectrum of natural rapport to include virtually anyone in that room. I become the natural fit for everyone. And it's a choice. It's conscious, deliberate, determined effort. It's intentional, and yet it's authentic. There's nothing disingenuous about it, but we put in the work. We take the ownership, and we open the door to connecting powerfully. Hopefully this was helpful for you. I tell you, if you master rapport, you've mastered life. If we can connect, we can accomplish anything. Now, sometimes people hire me and they say, well, I want help with difficult people. And some of you are on the call saying, well, if you're going to talk about communications, I want to know how to handle those difficult people. So I think the most important thing to start with is, if you're thinking about difficult people in your mind's eye, and if they were on this call, and I asked them to think about difficult people, they might be thinking about you. And so instead of thinking that difficult people are one section of society and I'm part of the other group that's not difficult, I think therein is the problem. We have an arrogance and superiority, and we think they're bad, we're good. And I think it's safer to say we're all bad and we're all good. I have good days, I have bad days, I mess up. And so rather than see myself as the pure one where the others are all messed up, and this is the foundation of many communication challenges, I see myself as part of the problem and part of the solution. And I want to be able to handle whatever we're facing. I want to be able to handle objections. And if you're trying to close a deal, move forward on an issue, and people are somehow giving you any form of resistance, first thing I want to say is objections are almost never objections. It's just feedback. It's just an open, honest, respectful, direct communicator. They're letting you know what's happening, where their concerns are, where their needs are. And these are great things to receive. And if people are pushing back, there's only one reason. That means you're pushing in the first place. And if they're pushing, if they're pushing back, you need to stop pushing them and respect people's right to make up their own minds. We never need to push someone into a decision, push someone into something. We help someone make an informed decision in their own best interest. We help them across the threshold of making that decision. So if they're pushing back, it's because I'm pushing. I need to stop pushing and start listening. So if we can move forward on the slides there, John. So we want to stop pushing and start listening. The last thing I want to share with you, and I'll open up for Q&A, and I certainly hope you've been thinking about, if you had a chance, I've spent 25 years, no, more than 25 years researching it, 23 years as a speaker, sharing these thoughts around the world, and now, you heard my bio, so now I get to do all kinds of cool things. If you had this time with me, what questions would you ask? So I'm going to ask you to be prepared. In a few moments, I'm going to open it up for questions. So here I want to introduce an interesting concept. First, it's called the communication channel capacity. You might want to jot it down. I want you to think of, in someone's heart, in someone's mind, they have like a raging river of thoughts, feelings, and emotions, concerns, some conscious, some unconscious, that they may want to share with you. They may want to get off their chest. And if that's you, you have a thought, a feeling, an experience, you want to explain the taste of vanilla to someone who can't taste, the color green to someone who can't see it. You want to explain things that are complex and challenging. It's like this raging river of thought and feeling that we try and shove into words. And the ultimate example of this is your name and my name. My name is James MacNeil. After this webinar, someone might say, do you know James MacNeil? And you say, yes, I was on a webinar with him. But do we really think that means you know me? Does that mean we're connected? Does that mean you really understand my soul? And I think you would agree, no. But you know the label given to this person. And so once we cover up the truth with a label, we stop seeking to truly understand. So words are very limited. When we put words together into sentences and paragraphs, and we're trying to organize our thoughts, it's a collection of zip files, and we're hoping they understand the zip file on the other side. And hopefully you can appreciate when we use some words like leadership, love, passion. There's many words in the English language and in every language that people have their own definition for, and we all know that. So when you say leadership in a conversation, you know beyond a shadow of a doubt, everyone in the room has a different definition, and yet you don't work to clarify. You say, I said the word leadership, and you move on. And so even though we know people have different definitions on how they unpack these words, we're doing our best. So that's called the raging river of thought and feeling. Then we shove it into language. And if we're in person, the person can read all the signs, our body language. They can look into our eyes, and they can see if there's sweat coming down our brow. They can see the tension or the comfort. And so when we're in person, it's like shoving this raging river through a fire hose. And so they have a chance of unpacking that information to understand us. But when we're not even in person, we're sending this message through, let's say, a video, a Skype. Let's say right now, this was a video call and you could look at my face. It's still not the same. That's a garden hose. So you can see me and you can hear me, but it's still not the same as being in my presence. I think everyone on the webinar here understands that being in person is different. So now I've taken this raging river, instead of a fire hose, it's down to a garden hose. And then it goes even farther. What if I shove it through email? Well, that's like a straw. And what if I go through to text? It's a syringe. And we're wondering why people don't understand us, because we're taking these complex ideas, shoving them through a series of little wee words, and often short forms of real words, and we're wondering why people don't understand us. So hopefully you can appreciate we're currently experiencing stimulation overload, information overload, in a culture of distrust, compounding complexity, and people are trying to understand each other. It's a challenging thing. We can become masters of this. And that's what verbal Aikido is. It helps you cut through all the noise that could happen within you, could happen within them, and allow genuine connection between souls where both people feel safe to communicate honestly, openly, respectfully, and directly, and we have breakthrough. And then everyone gets to make decisions in their own best interest and feel comfortable moving forward in this genuine context of connection. I hope that was helpful for you as I sprinted through some things, and I'm not done, I'm still here. But I wanted to definitely open it up for a Q&A at this point. And John, I hope I didn't mess up your schedule too much. I had some fun teaching there.
No. I could listen to you, James, forever.
You're very sweet. I'm not sure everyone else feels the same.
Calm my soul. Just one comment while we're waiting for questions. Your story about when you were in Mexico attending that seminar and this billionaire was telling you his secret to success.
Yes.
And when he said forgiveness, it was just like a light bulb went off. And I'm going, forgiveness basically solves everything.
Isn't it incredible? It is incredible if we think about all the stuff that's hindering us from our freedom. From what can we forgive ourselves, and on what basis can we forgive others? And only then do we unlock the possibility. So, Anne, thank you for highlighting that. I really think that forgiveness is one of the master skills. You know, some people are afraid to take action. They're afraid to pick up the phone. They're afraid to have the meeting. They're afraid to ask for the sale. And the reason is they've messed up in the past and they haven't forgiven themselves for that. If they know that grace is abundant and they can be forgiven as they learn and grow and build rapport, they'll fearlessly move forward. So that's a beautiful one.
Yeah.
Let me encourage people to type in the chat box or in the question area any question you might have. I'd love to be helpful. And I'm not sure if people can communicate through audio, but however we can collect questions, I'm happy to answer them at this point.
So
Anyone have any questions or
am I just that clear?
You know, everything you put together, James, is so well done, and I have no questions. I just have comments and praise, and I live in awe of everything you present.
Well, thank you. I can see Ricardo's been texting in and communicating. Thank you so much, Ricardo. And I've got to scroll down here to see if there's a question.
Yeah. And Ricardo, thank you, because I understand you're coming to us from the Netherlands. So kudos to you for staying up this late and joining us.
And what is it there? It's 2:45 in the morning there.
Wow. Well, that's commitment. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Down a little bit lower, you can see there's a chat option, I believe. I can see it on mine, Ricardo. I'm not sure if you can. But you can put questions into the chat, to the question area, anything that works.
Yeah. Okay. So should we carry on then? The next.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay, James, do you want to carry on with these next few slides?
Sure. So verbal Aikido, we call it pure communications mastery. The reason why we call it pure communications is pure has a sense of incredible power, like an omnipotent power, and I know that's a massive claim, but we also want to talk about the purity of it, that if you're ever accused of using verbal Aikido, someone's accusing you of respectfully, openly, and directly communicating. They're accusing you of giving them genuine respect, acceptance, interest, in a spirit of service, in a safe environment where you respect other people's freedoms, and you can communicate strongly on issues you feel strongly about, while managing your emotions and respecting the rights of others. There's no accusation other than a positive one. And so we refer to it as pure communications mastery. And we also talk about it being the art and science of ultimate respect. The reason we use these terms is because as we've researched success, if you will think about success, in fact, let's just do it. Let's do it backwards. If you think about failure, every time a marriage breaks down, what do they say? The problem was, everyone together knows the answer is communication. Every time a corporation fails or a CEO fails, they'll say the problem there was communication. And so be mindful that success and failure hinge on our ability to manage our communications with ourselves and with others. And so that's why we refer to it as such. I just see that a chat came in. No, I'm not sure. Okay, so let me keep going then. What's my next slide? Sorry, guys, I just wanted to pause there for a moment. So yeah, so pull it up. So what is verbal Aikido? Well, first of all, it starts with the Japanese martial art Aikido, which means the powerful path to peace. I means harmony or blend, right? To blend and to harmonize. Ki means power, and the term ki can go all the way from just the kind of power that we refer to, the ability to act, all the way through to the theological and the spiritual realm of the ultimate power of the universe. And so the idea here is that all the power that's necessary and helpful for any given moment is now available because we harmonize with that through a path that makes sense. So a powerful path to peace. It's a relatively young martial art. The founder's son, last I knew, was still alive and well and with us. And so Aikido has given us an incredible opportunity to understand that we don't have to be overpowering, overbearing. We can, in fact, respect the environment, respect the energy coming from another person, and move forward with that. So I just absolutely love Aikido. That's where this comes from. So what makes it so special? What makes it so unique in our environment? And I think what's beautiful about it is I think there was a time when everyone just knew. You just talk straight with each other. Now we've got people speaking through innuendo, and if they say this, you do that. And there's all these tricks and tips, match their this and do that. And there's something, I think it comes from a faithless, like a fear, that people feel compelled to manipulate, dominate, or control out of fear, or they just feel that's the only way that people communicate. And so this is a completely different shift. It's, in fact, the cutting edge of the latest brain research. We study neuroscience. We study what the quantum physics are telling us, quantum physicists. We do look at the neural pathways, the spindle cells, the mirror neurons. We take the most cutting edge research into the brains, which is absolutely new. We now are learning new things about the brain. And yet we combine it with an age-old philosophy and the wisdom literature of the past that says we are not at war. It is not us and them. There is no us and them. There's just us. We're all one people group, and we're all trying to find our way. We're all doing our best, and we're all making mistakes. And so that's why it's such a special thing, because it's power under control, and it's not tricky in any way. And I'll ask John and Anne for you guys to speak for a few moments as I try and read some of the questions or texts that's come in, and you guys can say why you think it's so special, and then I'll come back once I've read some of these and I'm ready to answer.
Okay. A little bit about my story. I love my parents. They did the best that they could, but for some reason I was always a little bit slower at school. It always took me a little bit longer to understand something. So therefore I was considered the slow one in the family. Even though I'm well-read, love to read. Long story short, I was a single parent, and my daughter was having issues in school, and I thought, oh, okay, maybe she's like me, she's going to be a little slower in school. And they said, well, we want to send her for a test. And I spoke to my daughter, and she says, I'm not going for a test. I'm not dumb. And I said, well, honey, you're not dumb. I realize that. But how about if I go with you? And I went with her. And lo and behold, it's true. My daughter is brilliant. It turned out it was just an issue she was having with some of her teachers. Turns out I was the one with the learning disability.
Mm.
And it was like, oh my goodness. I'm not slow. I'm actually quite smart.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the day I drew the line in the sand and I started to improve myself. And that's why communication now is such a passion of mine. I want to help people overcome their struggles and be all that they can be.
Beautiful.
This is what
Well, thank you.
I love with Verbal Aikido.
Well, thank you so much, and that is an inspiration. I noticed that Dee asked about the comments. It's shocking, you know, as I've worked with corporations for the last, well, I've been speaking for 23 years, and some of them within corporations, but my real sweet spot as far as communications expertise within corporations has been about 15 years. But for 15 years, and my buyers and the organizers, the HR team will attest to this, the number one feedback we get from the Verbal Aikido work is how this has transformed their lives. Of course, their bosses, their co-workers say they're transformed and their results are astronomical. They have lower turnover, higher engagement levels. They have higher productivity. We teach non-salespeople to sell. A small group of tellers at a credit union called member service reps, 170 of them. It were 6 months, just one day of training each. Over the next 6 months, brought in over $100 million. So they get the results. They get an incredible return on investment. And you can learn to master communications and sales with us as well. But the number one feedback is, you've transformed my life at home. My kids are listening to me. I'm listening to my kids. You've restored relationships. One of the most common things I've been hearing recently is the restoration with parents, that they've had, people have had lifelong falling outs with parents, and they've been able to restore the incredible connection that families are supposed to have, and we're able to move past the past without approving things that shouldn't be approved. We're able to move forward with beauty and respect, and so that's been powerful for me. One of the questions that came in, George is asking about a very official kind of a thing, the institutions within organizations, and you're talking about like legal fields, and there's structures, and how do you manage this? Do you need special training? Well, I have an excellent response to that, in my opinion, and that is the fundamentals of honor and respect are appropriate for all context. You know, I began using this in blue-collar manufacturing plants in the United States, throughout the United States, where they were having knife fights in the parking lot. And I was called in to make everyone, you know, stop trying to kill each other and get along nicely. And we had shockingly transformative results. And from that blue-collar people group, my reputation extended all the way to the most powerful banks in the world. And they said, who is this person? We found something unique, and they've consumed me for 15 years. As they said, your genuine communications process and philosophy transforms everything, whether it's personal or professional, whether it's sales or customer satisfaction, whether it's leadership, management, implementation. Everywhere it seems to apply, and people are coming into work happier and healthier because it's affecting their home lives. So sometimes we think it's a very structured legal issue. In the end, it's really humans. And once you realize that the fundamentals of honor, respect, and communication are human issues, and once we know how to communicate, manage ourselves, control ourselves, manage our interactions, and influence others, we become free, whether it's this, that, or the other, whether it's legal or otherwise. And so I also noticed that George is talking about unions. You know what, I've been honored to come into virtually any kind of a situation, and I now do so fearlessly. It's amazing. Let me encourage everyone to write this down. When people feel heard, understood, accepted, and respected, we can begin dialogue. Until they do, there's a principle called psychological air. If they cannot feel heard, understood, accepted, and respected, they cannot move forward. And virtually all negotiation breakdown, relationship breakdown, and war comes from I don't feel heard, understood, accepted, and respected. We teach this principle, and you'll just become very comfortable with this. So there's nothing that you can't hear. You'll be comfortable in all of those conversations. So hopefully that helps some of those questions. And I'm not running away. We can continue to communicate and answer questions as we go on.
Yeah, go ahead. I think he's touched on that.
Yep, as we talked about, again, just to recap it, instead of manipulation, domination, control, we focus on control self, manage interactions, influence others. And because our power is to control ourselves, not to try and control things that we can't control, but to respect others' freedoms, but to control self, manage our interactions, and influence, we become very powerful, and we don't provoke fear. No one is our victim. No one is our victor. We now create peace everywhere we go in productivity.
Okay.
And so a reasonable question is, what do you want Verbal Aikido to do for you? Have you thought about relationships while we're conversing here? Are there people in your lives that you want success and wellness for more than they want for themselves? And you're trying to figure out, how do I, excuse me, how do I get this person to hear me? How can I engage and have a positive impact on that life? Is it a relationship as in you're single or you're married and you want to work on that romantic relationship? Is it in business? You want to be able to master connection quickly and powerfully and authentically? Would you love to have a complete communications tool set so no matter what goes on, you actually can understand it? You don't walk away from a conversation ever again wondering what happened. You'll always know what happened. You're never intimidated again. Your hot buttons are gone. You now are calm and confident in any environment. You have the power to persuade, and you have assertiveness. You can speak your truth with confidence without threatening anybody. You'll have that freedom. What would you like Verbal Aikido to do for you? Would you like to always feel and have others in your presence feel heard, understood, accepted, and respected? It's important that you know what's in it for you. What's it worth to save that marriage? What's it worth to save that child? What's it worth to restore those relationships? What's it worth to restore peace? What's it worth to build a business, an empire? What's it worth to build a fortune? What's it worth to you to master communications? Because as we study the greats, the world's most successful people, these are the fundamental tools. Some of them have some have others, but these are the tools that got them there. And so what do you want Verbal Aikido to do for you? I think that's a great question for you to be clear. What do you want?
Thank you, James.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Now, Jane, are you ready?
Yes, can you hear me, guys?
Oh, hey. Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm great, Ann and John. How are you?
We're well. Thank
Fantastic.
Did you want to just enter the fields there, Wayne, for me, or John, please?
Yeah.
Perfect. So yes, I'm very thrilled to be on the call and to share a testimonial as well. I went through the home study course the first time back in January, and absolutely agree it has transformed my life. I had not only many ahas at that time, but certainly since, and am eternally grateful, James, as you know that, for the Verbal Aikido program. And just like you mentioned a minute ago, James, I am one of the many people that have been affected greatly by being able to save a relationship with a family member. It had been challenging for many years, and I would pay anything to preserve that relationship, and I'm thrilled to have done so. And as well, I also have used it to build a relationship with an acquaintance that in the past she was not able and willing to have a relationship with me, but now we needed to, and are kind of bridging that gap and have become friends. And it is learning the techniques through Verbal Aikido that has helped me build that relationship with her. And again, it's absolutely worth it. So on the screen now too, it says, because of this, I choose to have had my children go through the course. They're a big part of, again, another Verbal Aikido testimonial that I have, because they are my two biggest priorities in my life. And because of a recent death in the family, I am so thankful again that I've had Verbal Aikido, and that the kids are familiar with it as well, so that it's because it's that much more important for us to speak honestly, openly, respectfully, and directly, because there's all sorts of hot buttons that could be pushed. There's all sorts of emotions and different ways that we could be derailed when we speak to each other, when it is such a touchy subject. But again, we have the skills, we've mastered the skills, and I'm so, so grateful for that.
Okay.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Now, you've heard a little bit about my story while James was reading for the questions. I feel so empowered now. I no longer feel like a victim. And Verbal Aikido has given me that. I walk now with a quiet strength, a calm confidence. People feel safe around me. At my current place of business, people are coming to me to ask them about how they should handle certain situations, and they're accepting the advice. And I see other lives changing because of how James has changed my life. And for that, I am forever grateful. So thank you again, James.
Okay.
So what you were going to discover, as I'm sure you already have by now at this point, there is an online course, and it is a treasure trove of such valuable information that we've just sort of touched the tip of the iceberg here this evening. And since this was our passion, it is our passion, we decided to become licensed trainees, master Aikido facilitators like Jane War was. You just give her testimonial. She's a master verbal Aikido trainer as well. So you're going to discover through the course that this is designed for people who are looking to build that better relationship. And you know what? Being able to handle those difficult conversations, and I can just sort of say I've had to have many difficult conversations since my training with verbal Aikido, and I went in there feeling safe, and the other person felt safe. And it's so invaluable. I can't put a price tag on that. Do you want to keep going, John?
Yeah. To be able to ethically influence those to make informed decisions in their best interest, not ours. So when we are discussing something or you want to get people to make a decision, what's important is that they feel comfortable, and they can feel comfortable saying no. Whether they say no or yes to whatever, it's good both ways, because the important thing is when they make a decision, we are ensuring that they're making a decision based on their best interest, not our best interest, but theirs. And that's a different way of looking at things, and I think that's absolutely huge. You will be able to handle any situation with calm confidence and safe strength. And then you are exactly the person James designed this course for. Okay. No, eliminating the problems, we got the solutions, and here's how we're going to do it.
Oh, you're the numbers guy, so you're going to do the numbers for them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, benefits when applied. Okay. Income increases 2 to 3 times. Your income earning potential is what we mean by that. Because when you change your mindset, when you apply the principles that have been taught here, people notice the difference, and as a result, you have that ability to increase that. Your relationships, I've experienced that personally. Family relationships are improving dramatically. Socially, they improve. In business, in all aspects of life. Since we've started this, our lives have taken a dramatic turn for the better. And we see things happening that, hey, we're excited about. We're excited about where we're going, and we're excited about the fact that we know that we can help others have a positive impact on their lives, and that, hey, their lives are going to be better as a result too. And that's a great feeling. Okay? So it's plain and simple. All aspects of life get better. Do you think you could do this with our help? No, maybe, yes. For us, the answer was yes. But then, hey, if you don't feel comfortable, hey, that's perfectly fine, because you're allowed to. It's important that you make the decision that you're comfortable with. And if you're unsure, think about it, because we're not putting a rush on you. We're simply saying, hey, get the information and make sure that you're comfortable with the decision that you make, and then make that decision. And here's another short testimonial.
If you've ever been in a situation where you couldn't ask for what you wanted for, you need communication skills. Whether it's in a relationship or asking for a raise or asking your client for a contract, you need communication skills. There's nothing better than pure communications mastery from Verbal Aikido. Hi, I'm Martin Wales, the former host of Microsoft's Your Business, Entrepreneur Magazine's eBiz show, and many other radio and television shows. And I know that when I have on someone who can't communicate, it's not a great show. So if you want your life to have what you want in it, then you need to know how to ask, and you need to know how to listen so you can help people walk away from the table, whether it's negotiations or sales or personal relationships, feeling great too. I highly recommend this webinar with my friend John Wayne Jensen. Make sure you attend. Register now.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to be able to handle any situation from business to personal, then you need acute communication skills. Verbal Aikido gives you the power to negotiate any circumstance so that both parties feel heard and recognized. Everyone talks about win-win, but this is how you can accomplish it with ease and grace. Banks and corporations have seen the need. They paid in excess of $40,000 for this training. To access this information, you're getting the exact course we personally used. What's the price? Well, at least $250 for 1 hour of my time. Daily rate to corporations are $5,000 and above a day to teach their staff. Here's a breakdown what you're going to get. 8 chapters filmed in HD, $3,500 value. Insightful assessment tools, $499 value. 52 instructional online video sessions, an $8,500 value. An expansive full-color PDF workbook, $499. MP3 audio downloads for convenient listening, or in the car or on the iPad, $999 value. It's available 24/7. That's priceless. Track your progress. That's priceless. Learn at your own pace. That's priceless. Exercises develop skills and form habits. Priceless value. So the total value of this all comes to $13,997, which is undervaluing it by more than half. However, who would like a discount? Anybody out there want a discount?
Oh, we're going to give one anyway.
Okay, we realize the transformational power of this course. We want this to be accessible to most everyone. So we dropped to $9,997. But wait, I'll make this even better. We thought about it. Still needs to be better. We want you to manage this. So we have made it an absolute bargain. Not $997. All in, $497 webinar special.
Wow.
Okay. I'll do you one even better. Pay in full today, just $497, or just 3 payments of $199. That's the best deal. There is zero risk, no questions asked, 100% satisfaction guarantee, or your money back. If you don't feel you got at least 10 times the value of your investment in the first 30 days, I will refund 100% of your money. Act now. Here's what you do now. Okay, if you click on the button, or I'm going to give you a handout, or I'm going to put the link in the question box, and that link will take you to a website where a web page where you can click on the button to do all in now for $497, and this is what it would look like. You just fill in your information and then check out with a credit card or PayPal. One full payment to access your course. So if you want to improve your relationships and income, make that change. We will add even more value to ensure your success. You can only gain with this. We have the community to support you and help you get the results you're looking for. Do you think you can achieve change with our help? this is more comfortable for you, have it down to 3 easy payments, just 3 payments of $199 per month. Click here now for 3 payments of $199. Access your course now. Okay. And success, don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Yes. Verbal Aikido, are you ready for the change? 3 equal monthly payments of $199. Click here now, or for 1 full payment. So what I'm opening up, I've got a handout here, and if you click on that right here, that will take you to the page. There's a Word document. I'm going to also, 1 second, I'm going to put in a link from the chat box, 1 second here. I'm going to get that. Sorry.
While John is doing that, if anyone has any questions that they want to type in for James or Jane, or we also have Wayne McPherson on the line. Hello, Wayne. How are you? Can you hear us? Maybe Wayne's still muted. That's okay.
And this is Raza here.
Hi, Raza.
Hi.
Muted. Unmuted. Muted. Unmuted.
Ah,
Okay, that's better.
our apologies. We had technical difficulties. We didn't realize we had muted part of the presentation. This is now the Q&A portion.
No
If anyone
problem.
has any questions that you want to put in, the question box for either James or Raza or Jane or Wayne McPherson, we said, was also
Or
on the line.
Ahmed.
Please feel free. And we want to thank you for staying with us for this. We realize we've run a little bit long, but you know that's what happens when we're communicating and connecting with people. We just enjoy the conversations and the relationships. So we do thank you for staying with us.
Okay, so Mike Garner, did you have a question? Mike? Okay. I guess not.
It's James MacNeil here. I just wanted to jump back in, if you don't mind, just for a moment.
Yes.
Just to let everyone know, this is a very generous, and it's an initial offer. This is not pricing that we normally approve as a team and as a community. John and Ann are being very generous, both with their time here, with the pricing that we're partnering in, and we are absolutely backing John up with that satisfaction guarantee. We are completely comfortable and confident, and this is a very special opportunity. We're very proud of our content, and we're transforming lives around the world. And this is your opportunity to take advantage of a very generous offer that John and Ann are doing. This is very unique. This is not normal, and I hope this inspires you. So please click on that link and follow through. Let's build a relationship. Let's begin to journey together, and let's watch how far we can go with this. I'm sure you can imagine how many sales would it take for this to be worthwhile? How many new friends would it take? How many relationships restored? How many deals that are closed? How many partnerships that are formed? What kind of results would it take for this to be an incredibly wise investment? And I think you would agree that within 30 days, you'd have astronomical results. And so I really encourage you to not only say yes to John and Ann now, but say yes to yourselves and take action on the content that you're learning. I wanted to follow up, John. I don't know if you've noticed, George is putting in just to remind us the power of forgiveness, talking about how corporations have just lost millions and millions of dollars in all kinds of ways within their relationships inside of a corporation. We know the engagement levels are down under 30%. We are limping along in many parts of the world as far as our corporate productivity, and forgiveness can clean the slate and get people back engaged. And so that's why they're paying top dollars. So thank you, George, for pointing that out and asking that question. So just wanted to say that. Anything else come in, folks?
I haven't seen anything.
I haven't seen anything either, other than asking who can speak all Dutch in Dutch. That's me.
Oh, is that from Ricardo?
That's from Ricardo.
Sorry, what was the question, sir?
Who could speak Dutch?
Oh, that would be you.
I'm fluent in
You're in
Dutch.
charge of Dutch. Yes. I see a question that George came in. What kinds of typical solutions are corporations looking for? Generally, there's some kind of interpersonal challenges that are hindering a department, a division. They have high turnover, low engagement. They have a breakdown in the fluidity of a division or a department, and so they'll call me in for that. Often, they have very lofty, ambitious goals. They have no idea how to accomplish it. Another very common thing is sales. That's kind of a universal. And then another one is management that have not been properly trained on how to manage difficult conversations and lead teams. And so we're called in for that kind of work regularly. And I think anyone who's been listening can see how the content, the philosophy, and the tools, of course, we're talking about how you can get all the tools, but when you're completely equipped for any moment, any situation within your professional or personal life, it just means you're a person who's no longer a threat, because you're no longer threatened. And all of a sudden the engagement levels come up and the sales skyrocket. And we've proven that time and time again all over the world. So great question.
Okay. I'm just looking to see if there's any other questions. I don't see any at the moment.
Yeah.
Yep. And I know that I own responsibility for us going along. I got too excited about the content. I love the questions. And I thank you all for allowing me to have fun here.
No, we love it and we love you, and it's all part of connecting and communicating, right? So
Absolutely.
you can't put a time on connecting.
Beautiful. Can you put that link back up just in case it's scrolled and people can't see it again, so people can see how they can enroll now and take advantage of your very generous offer?
Right here, I'm going to, wait a sec, where's the chat? It should be in the, wait a second.
Mm-hmm.
Or it got hidden into, well, wait a sec, I'm just going to
Just copy it over again.
Yeah, there it is. Gonna hit send. Does everybody see it?
I do. Thank you so much. Well, I hope this starts a relationship with everyone on the call.
Yeah.
We can connect and communicate more deeply now as we grow together. What you'll find is as you begin to access the tools, not just the training, but take action on it, you'll notice that your fears that you may have felt in the past were unjustified, that all of a sudden you realize, wait, I'm way more powerful than I knew. I'm far more articulate than I could imagine. And people don't freak out when I share my truth. There's so many people bottling their feelings, their thoughts, their needs, their perceptions, their fears, their challenges. And when we can communicate honestly, openly, respectfully, and directly, we clean the slate, and you'll just be amazed at how much easier life is. And that's what these testimonials have been sharing. That's what John's been sharing. I watched John just come to life. Brother, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you and watching you. Now we call you Smiling John. We didn't call you that when we met you. And we just watch transformation in our community. We're a close-knit community. We've grown that way because we've developed communication skills that have made us a very special community of people who care about each other, care about the people we serve, and you'll experience the same. So thank you so much for joining us here. And if there's any way I can continue to be of service, I want to make sure that I parachute in. But this is an incredible opportunity for you to take advantage of. I certainly hope you will.
Well, thank you, James. Thank you for that wonderful endorsement. We look forward to moving forward with everyone as well and building a community. And we have run a little bit long, so I think we'll leave it open for just a couple more minutes if anyone has any more questions. And then, I think because we have run a little bit longer, we should probably call it an evening and say thank you to everyone who's been on.
We really want to thank you, everybody that's attended. And, feel free that if you have any questions, you can also, reach out to us afterwards. If you've got questions, you can always reach. I'll type in our phone number, and that way, don't be afraid to call. Or you can also check out further information at our website, which is JAJ Digital Marketing and .com. And then because we got a whole section there on James's background as well. Also, you will find that at verbalakido.com. One second here. Let's get this. And feel, we're here to help you with whatever questions you may have. It has made a huge difference in our lives. And we are seeing results unlike we've ever seen before. And we expect huge change. So, is there any...
No, I think we've sort of hit the questions.
I see Ricardo had a few questions.
Yeah, and they were answered them.
Are you still there, Ricardo? I would like to connect with you in the next few days, if at all possible, by phone. So
I think we're taking it.
Okay, and anybody else? And then I think we're going to call it a night. Thank you all very much for attending. And John at jajdigitalmarketing.com or Ann at jajdigitalmarketing.com. You can reach, you can give us a call, and we'll be glad to answer any questions. So have a wonderful evening. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks a lot, James. Thanks a lot, everybody. Okay, so now it's...